Behind me is the Gotrax GX0. This is Gotrax entry-level dual suspension, dual motor scooter. And today I want to get into the features and functions of this scooter and give it a good review. So let's dive in. Let's start off going over the scooter itself first. And up first we got the grips. I personally really like them. I think they're pretty high quality, kind of soft. You've got these nice bolsters on the sides on each end, and it really helps you kind of locate your hand. Moving over, we got this bell. I like it. It's pretty discreet. It's out of the way. And this scooter has dual brakes, which I really like. They're pretty nice for mechanical brakes, and they definitely beat one single rear brake. And moving over, we have the controls. I think they're in a great position, and they're super easy to use on the go. One thing I like about them is how simple they are. There's a button for everything, and everything has a button. For the selections, we have our single and our dual motor options. And then moving up, we have our walk assist, which we'll be getting into here in a little bit. It's pretty handy. And then over to the right, we have our menus button. This button allows you to get into some of the option settings of the scooter. Then moving up to the top left, we have our gear up and down buttons. This scooter comes with 3 different gear options paired with the single and dual motor options. And then to the right, we have our power on and off and our headlight button. Powering this thing on, you'll see we have a pretty nice display, and I love the simplicity of it. It's super easy to glance at while you're driving and see your speed, your battery life. It doesn't feel like you have to focus in and find the information. And another thing is it's super easy to see during broad daylight. It's not too bright at night. Over here to the right, we have a pretty generic thumb throttle. Nothing too fancy with that. Got your rear brake set up there. And overall, I think it's a very nice cockpit. Very user-friendly, in my opinion. Carrying this scooter isn't super terrible, but it leads me into my absolute biggest complaint about the scooter, and that's the latch once you collapse the scooter. As you can see, you have to line it up just right with the hook and the loop, and even then it's really hard to fully seat into the hook. I think most of that comes from the rubber coating on the hook, but nevertheless, it's probably the worst design I've seen from Gotrax, in my opinion. Every other one has been super simple and easy to do, and I mean one-handed even. So I don't know, engineers have a lot to tackle sometimes, and with this being a dual suspension scooter, I can see how that could be difficult to package all that. But once you fight it into submission, you come up to the front, and this hook is a totally different story. This latch rather. It's super simple, super easy, and it's very similar to what you would find on most other scooters. Using this style latch is very simple. You just lift up and pull down, lift up on the tab and pull down. This allows you to drop the bars down, and then when you want to latch it back up, you just push it closed and you're good to go. Coming down the scooter, you'll see the steer tube and the neck are super rigid, they're super sturdy. I really like them. And just under that, we have the coilover style shocks. These do have adjustable preload on each of them. Got the front brake tucked away nicely there. And this scooter also does come with a removable battery, which is really cool for many reasons. And to access the battery, you have these 2 locks up front. They've got a little cover on them. And the combination from the factory is 000 for both of them. And once you finally get that code right, you can give these things a quarter turn and the deck lifts up. And when you finally do get the deck lifted up, you'll see that the battery is packaged very well, and it simply just unplugs. You just pop the plug up and you can take the battery in wherever you need to charge it. Sometimes if you can't take the scooter into a building or whatever, you could at least take the battery in, charge it. And it also acts as a battery bank. You can charge your phone with the scooter battery if you wanted. And it does come with indicator lights to show you how charged the battery is. So very nice, very convenient. And just for reference, this scooter comes with a 36 volt 16 amp hour battery. It says it takes about 6 hours to charge, and I believe that's about right. Once you get your battery charged, it's pretty easy to reinstall. You just simply put it back in. It sits in its own little spot, doesn't move around very much, and you just simply plug it back in. And then you simply just lay the deck back over, twist the latches, scroll the lock, and put the covers back on, and then you're off to the races again. Now, when you first turn the scooter on, you'll see that it's indicated that it's in park. And if you go over here, the thumb throttle does not work. And this scooter is equipped with zero start. So technically you don't have to push assist to get it moving, but you do have to indicate by either touching the brake lever, you'll see it goes into first gear, or using either of the gear selectors that'll throw it into first gear. And you can see here, going through the gears, we have first, second, and third, 3 gear selections. And after just a moment, you'll see that it goes into park again. It's a safety feature they have on there. Kind of annoying, it's whatever. And within each of those gears, you can select between single or dual motor on the fly, which is very nice if you ask me. If you're going for a long cruise, you might want to keep it in single motor to conserve a little bit of battery. And then you get into a tricky spot, you might want to throw it in dual motor to get a little bit better acceleration. You can see there, once you have it in gear, it's ready to go whenever you are. This scooter has an acclaimed top speed of 28 miles per hour and a range of 25 to 32 miles. Realistically though, it's more like 15 to 20 miles from my experience and listening to others. With the weight coming in at 66 pounds, the scooter still feels super nimble and it's really easy to place in turns. From my experience, the single motor acceleration is honestly not up to par. Put it in dual motor, you do get a significant jump in acceleration. So here I put in a test, and you can see each gear was tested with single and dual motor options to give you just a visual comparison. You can use the shadows as reference. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but it's also kind of hard to film. And as I mentioned before, this scooter is super nimble. I love taking this thing through the turns. I could honestly stay in this one little section that's being filmed all day long. The suspension is really compliant, but I think it complements the scooter. It definitely doesn't make the scooter feel lousy or like sluggish around the turns, but it does allow it to soak up a lot of the rough bumps. You can see this thing can get away from you pretty quick. But I definitely don't think the suspension takes away from any part of the, I guess you would say, efficiency of the scooter. And even under braking, you don't really notice the scooter nosediving. And under acceleration, you don't see the scooter rocking back and forth. Very nice. This section here is a long downhill, and even still, it takes a minute for it to finally get up to the top speed of 28 miles per hour. I think this scooter shines best in the mid-speed acceleration, if you will. Not the best from a dig, not the best at the top end, but right in there in the middle is the sweet spot for it. And coming up the hill, honestly, the scooter doesn't do bad, but it never hits the top speed coming up this gradual grade here. It kind of caps out about 22 miles an hour. Just something to note. And right here, I was trying to show you that I was not touching the gas, but it got a little sketchy, so I didn't do that anymore. But this thing does roll freely pretty good. For a dual motor scooter, I think it's nice to have one that doesn't drag down when you let off the gas, especially having suspension. A lot of times, if you're trying to go a long distance, you want it to be as efficient as possible. So that is nice about this scooter. Next up is the walk assist feature. To activate this, you will press and hold the walk assist button for 2 to 3 seconds, and then it will automatically bring the scooter up to about 3 miles per hour, and it'll hold it there. As soon as you let go, it kicks it out of walk assist mode.
I can see that being beneficial every now and then.
Taking this thing off-road is a blast. It feels super planted, probably because of the heavy battery right under you, and the suspension really soaks up a lot of the smaller bumps and allows you to kind of float through everything. And with the dual motor setup, it kind of rights itself back up if you get a little squirrely. And you can see it goes through fields and rough terrain pretty easy. Here in East Texas, the red dirt, once it dries up, it gets pretty hard and slick, honestly. Sometimes you have to watch out. And even then, with the dual motor setup, it kind of self-rights, and it's really nice. And last but not least, to end this video off, I want to show you the headlight, because on this scooter, this thing is incredible in my opinion. You see here, the display goes darker as it turns on, and look at that. For a scooter, I think it's great, at least comparing it to other scooters. I like the lights on the side. I think they're honestly really good for safety, and they do look cool, in my opinion. I do wish you could turn them off, though. You can see, comparing them to the G3 Max, which is also a great headlight, this thing does give you a pretty wide range of view, and the projector is just stronger. It helps a lot when you're going down the road to be able to see a little bit to the left and right, driving this thing around, the presence it has. And honestly, overall, for $800, only you can decide if it's for you or not, but in my opinion, I think it's a jack of all trades scooter. It's fast, it has decent range, it's comfortable. The only downside is the bigger size itself when it comes to storing it and carrying it around, in my opinion. But thanks for watching. If you would like and subscribe, I'd love to have you for another video in the future, and I hope you have a great day.